The words landed like a sucker punch in a room full of champagne flutes and fake smiles, echoing through the silence of 200 guests at the Willow Creek Country Club in upstate New York. "Only my blood daughter gets my full blessing," my father announced, his voice steady and sharp as a courtroom gavel. Eyes locked on me like I was some intruder crashing the party. "The adopted one? She can take a seat." I froze in my lilac bridesmaid gown. The one my sister Sarah had picked because it made my hazel eyes pop, feeling the world tilt as if the polished dance floor had cracked open beneath me. My hands trembled around the stem of my glass, the bubbly turning sour in my throat. This was supposed to be Sarah's perfect day, her fairy tale wedding to Michael, complete with white orchids cascading from every archway and string lights twinkling like distant stars. But in that instant, the fairy tale shattered, exposing the rot I'd buried deep for 25 years. I'd always known I was the outsider, the puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. Adopted at 3 after my biological parents perished in a fiery car crash on the I-95. I was taken in by the Harrisons, John and Elizabeth, old family friends who stepped up when no blood relatives surfaced. It sounded noble on paper, like one of those heartwarming adoption stories you see on daytime TV. But reality was a different beast. Elizabeth, my adoptive mom, wrapped me in warmth from day one, baking chocolate chip cookies and reading bedtime stories as if I'd always been hers. John? He was the iceberg, cold, unyielding, providing the basics like tuition for my nursing degree and showing up at my high school graduations with a stiff nod. But never the hug. Never the "I'm proud of you" kid. Sarah, his biological daughter, born just a year before I arrived, was the golden child. She inherited his drive, his charisma, landing a high-powered marketing job in Manhattan while I stayed local, working shifts at the community hospital. She could charm a room. I blended into the wallpaper. Yet Sarah and I were thick as thieves growing up, sharing secrets under blanket forts, defending each other from schoolyard bullies. She'd always brush off John's distance. "He's just wired that way. Emily, it's not you, it's his baggage." But deep down, I knew it was me. I was the reminder that family wasn't always neat and tidy. The wedding planning had been my lifeline, a chance to prove my worth. For 6 months, I'd poured my soul into it, scouting venues from the Hudson Valley to the Catskills, negotiating with florists at midnight, crafting the seating chart to avoid family feuds. Sarah and I bonded like never before, laughing over Pinterest boards and tasting cakes until we were sick. It pulled us closer, mending the subtle rifts John's favoritism had carved. But underneath, that old tension simmered, a low hum I couldn't ignore. John had been oddly detached during the prep, offering checks but no opinions, his eyes glazing over whenever I spoke up. I chalked it up to wedding stress. But as he rose for the father of the bride toast that night, something in his posture, rigid, almost predatory, made my gut twist. "Ladies and gentlemen," John started, his baritone commanding the hall like he was closing a business deal in his tech firm boardroom. "Fatherhood is the ultimate investment, watching your legacy grow, seeing it bloom into something enduring." The crowd leaned in, glasses raised, oblivious to the storm brewing. I glanced at Sarah, radiant in her lace gown beside Michael, her software engineer husband who'd swept her off her feet at a tech conference. John's words flowed like honey at first, praising Sarah's achievements, her promotion to VP, her volunteer work with urban youth programs. But then the tone shifted, darkening like clouds over the Empire State. "True family," he said, pausing for effect, "is about blood ties that time can't erode. It's the unbreakable chain." My skin prickled. What was this? A biology lesson at a wedding? "Sarah," he turned to her, "you carry my essence, my drive, my future. That's why my blessing tonight is for you, my real daughter. Murmurs rippled through the tables. Guests exchanged uneasy glances, forks clinking awkwardly. Then his gaze swung to me, cold as a winter wind off the Hudson. Only my blood gets the full embrace. The adopted one? She's welcome to observe. The room sucked in a collective breath. Silence crashing down like a blackout. I felt exposed, stripped bare under the chandelier's glare. Heat flushed my cheeks, tears stinging. But I couldn't move. 25 years of swallowed hurt bubbled up, every ignored birthday. Every "you're not quite like us" glance. This wasn't just rejection, it was annihilation. Broadcast live to our world. But Sarah, my Sarah, didn't flinch. Her face hardened, eyes narrowing into slits of fury I'd never seen. She was the outgoing one, the peacekeeper. But now rage coiled in her like a spring ready to snap. "Dad," she said, voice low but slicing through the hush like a scalpel. "What the hell did you just say?" John blinked, caught off guard, as if he expected applause. "I said only my real." "Stop." She rose, her gown whispering against the chair, and snatched the mic from his hand. No hesitation. No plea, just command. The air thickened, every eye glued to her. She scanned the crowd, then me. And in that look, I saw it, a fierce, unbreakable shield of love. My chest ached with it. "I need to set the record straight," Sarah declared, mic amplifying her tremor into thunder. "Right now, in front of all of you." She faced John, unflinching. "You've just humiliated my sister, on what was supposed to be my dream day. You tried to erase her from our family like she's some footnote." John's jaw tightened, but she pressed on, voice rising. "For those who don't know, Emily joined our family at 3 after losing her parents in that horrific crash. Mom and Dad, our parents, took her in. But what you don't see is how Emily's been the backbone while you've played favorites." Tears welled in my eyes as she unveiled the truths I'd buried. "When Mom battled breast cancer 5 years ago, where were you? Dad? Jetting off to conferences? Burying yourself in work? It was Emily who quit her full-time job to part-time, who drove Mom to every chemo session in that beat-up Honda, who slept on those god-awful hospital chairs for weeks." The guests shifted, some dabbing eyes with napkins. I remembered those nights vividly, the sterile smell, Mom's frail hand in mine, John's excuses echoing over the phone. Sarah's words poured out, each one a hammer blow. Emily researched treatments, managed meds, held Mom together when she wanted to give up. She sacrificed her dreams, turned down that nursing scholarship to stay close. And me? I was in the city, climbing the ladder, calling sporadically. But Emily? She showed up. Every damn day. Her voice cracked, but she steadied. Turning to John. "The accusation flew. You've resented her for years. Dad made her feel like an interloper because Mom loved her unconditionally, something you struggled with. Jealous that Emily's quiet strength highlighted your absences." John's face reddened, veins bulging. "Sarah, this isn't." "Oh, it is," she cut in, relentless. "You've treated her like second class for 25 years, forcing her to earn scraps of affection I got for free. But that's not the half of it." She paused, the room hanging on the edge. From her clutch, she pulled a worn envelope, letters, statements, relics from the past. "I found these when helping Mom sort papers before she passed. They prove you had an affair 10 years ago with your assistant. A full year of betrayal that almost nuked our family." Gasps erupted like fireworks. I reeled. "Affair?" Mom had never breathed a word. John's composure shattered, face ashen. "Sarah, don't." "Mom found out," she barreled on. "Hired a divorce lawyer. Packed bags for us kids. She was done. But you know what stopped her? Emily." The revelation hit me like whiplash. Mom told me on her deathbed, seeing Emily's devotion. How she'd lost everything yet embraced us fully. Reminded her of what family could be. Emily's love saved your marriage. Dad. She kept us intact despite your selfishness. And you've punished her for it ever since, resenting the mirror she held to your failures. The silence was suffocating. Broken only by sobs. Guests, relatives, colleagues stared at John with mixtures of pity and scorn. Sarah grabbed my hand, pulling me up. Emily isn't the adopted one. She's my sister, the one who planned this wedding down to the last petal. Who calls me at 2 a.m. when life's rough. Who deserves every bit of love we've got. Facing John. Her tone iced over. Apologize for the decades of hurt. Or leave. I won't celebrate with someone who can't see her worth. John stood rigid. Emotions warring, shame flickering. Then defiance. The room waited. Breath held. Finally, he muttered. I should go. Protests murmured. But Sarah silenced them. Then go. But know you're losing both daughters. If Emily's not family to you, neither am I. His shoulders slumped. Eyes meeting mine with fleeting regret. But words failed him. He turned. Suit tails flapping. And exited into the night. Leaving a void that echoed louder than any toast. The applause started slow. Then roared guests standing, cheering through tears. Michael took the mic next. Voice thick. I've seen Emily's heart up close. She remembered my dad's allergy at the rehearsal dinner. Helped pick Sarah's ring. She's family. He hugged Sarah. Pride shining. The night transformed, dancing freer. Laughs genuine. Without John's shadow. Strangers, well. Guests approached me with hugs, sharing their own scars of exclusion. You're stronger than he ever was, whispered Aunt Clara. Mom's sister. But the high faded into the ache. That night, in my hotel room, the betrayal gnawed years of silence I'd endured, thinking it was my burden. Sarah's stand was revenge wrapped in love, exposing John's rot publicly. Yet the price? A fractured family. A father adrift. 6 months on. At Sarah's baby shower in their cozy Brooklyn brownstone. We unwrapped onesies amid laughter. John had reached out cards, calls, but his sorries rang empty, dodging the real work. Sarah held firm. No contact until you own it all. I won't let toxicity near my kid. A year later. Cradling baby Liam in the hospital. His tiny fists waving. Sarah whispered. He looks like family, our family. John's flowers arrived with a plea to meet his grandson. Denied. The revenge wasn't sweet, it was necessary. A boundary forged in fire. I'd spent years mute, absorbing blows. But Sarah's eruption freed us. The cost? Losing a father figure. But gaining unbreakable bonds. As Liam cooed, I realized family isn't blood, it's the ones who fight for you. Scars and all. And in that choice, we'd paid dearly. But we'd won our peace.